is based in UAE. Today I'm going to show you parts of the process and how I create my paintings, the inspiration that I get from my surroundings, and also some of the things that I figure out only when I was about to finish the painting of why I really like the subjects and why I kind of stayed away from realism and went on to a different route with the strokes and with the colors that I picked. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this mic is not even working. I just kind of want to feel that I'm talking to someone. At times when I need more motivation to paint, I get inspiration by going out with friends. We headed to Abu Dhabi and grabbed a bunch of art materials to paint whatever we like. I was looking around my surroundings and moments later, the perfect person sat right in front of me. It so happens that Ate Ella, another artistic friend of mine, was celebrating her birthday that day. I said, why not? I'll give it as a gift to her after our art session. I've chosen to use an almost dried out marker as my sketching tool. It was pretty fun as I didn't have initial plans with my sketch. My subject also keeps on moving as she also paints, so I focused more on capturing her likeness rather than imagining her as a still photo. Painting randomly, or more like painting just for the sake of art, helped me to remember why I like creating art in the first place. It reminds me of when I was in 5th grade. I used to sketch at the back of my notebook with my shallow pen while half listening to my teacher. As I've grown older, I started to take painting seriously, getting commissions and putting deadlines with my own personal works to keep track of my growth. While this helped me become more professional and technical with my work, sometimes as artists we do need a breather. No pressure, just fun, even for a little while. While surfing through the Pinterest, I saw the statue of James Pradier, which is the Three Graces, and I know it's gonna be a challenge to pull off, but it's a challenge I'm willing to take. Obviously, the remnants of my first attempt to sketch this piece using a pencil was rather a mess. The anatomy was not proportioned and it was too big for the shoulder on the left to fit on the canvas. But instead of repeating all over again, I used my initial mistakes as a guide. I figured that I needed to start sketching the center a little bit more to the right so there will be more space on the left and probably make the statue a little bit smaller. It's funny how maybe 5 years ago I would leave this painting be and probably put white gesso on the sketch until the canvas looks brand new again. But now, as I continuously paint, I feel that I already know what to do even if it hasn't started yet. The more I paint, the more I realize that mistakes are there to teach us what is yet to be learned and not to be abandoned.
2 doors at the front, 2 at the back.
Last year, my family and I traveled to Georgia. It was such a peaceful country. I like how there are a lot of trees and walkable paths even in the city of Tbilisi. Winemaking, for example, is taken seriously here. It's another form of art that I don't know how to do but can still admire from afar. I was actually amazed that there were paintings hanging all over the park. Their pieces usually capture the everyday lives of locals here. And you can actually talk to some of the artists too, which was pretty fun. Although we did have a short stay, I'll forever treasure this trip which truly broadened my perspective towards the cultures of the world. I indeed became more inspired to work and produce art that reflects our inner emotions, and spoken things worthy of putting them even on the canvas. Well, at this point, it's our last day, and I took the advantage of appreciating the city at night. After this, I realized everything will go back to normal. But it's just how life goes, and I'm really glad this trip happened. back to the unfinished painting, this piece wasn't done in one sitting. And I'm glad it did because I noticed that the colors that I used prior were too dull for my liking. To make the colors pop, I glazed the first layers with burnt sienna so I have a darker base to begin with, and I can better play with my letter values as well. I wanted to use somewhat like a light cyan blue as a background, so in order for that to pop, I need to use its complementary color orange in the subject. My main intention here was to create a vibrant atmosphere beyond the colors of realism. I usually do that with my paintings where I like to paint a face, an object, or anything we see in our surroundings every day, but we'll use a different color palette to make it surreal. At this point, I know it doesn't look that nice still, but my vision is finally getting there. Once I put that cyan blue background, it completed the overall look of this piece. And this is where I continuously paint, I don't stop, and my energy to paint is on fire. Now I switch to a smaller brush for me to focus on the details of the face. It's still a flat brush so I can create geometrical shapes easier. This allows me to see values as grouped shapes instead of individual strokes. Something that I always remind myself is don't think so much about trying to copy the reference photo as is. Instead, you can insert certain colors and elements that will add more character to your piece, just making sure everything still has the right value to complete the look. When I was working on this painting, it's the only time I realized why I really liked it. I was working on the upper area and I realized that the nipples are aligned beautifully, and even their navel area somehow creates this subtle curve when traced all together, even if they have different poses in this picture. As a fan of human anatomy and the female figure, this is mind-blowing in my case. At times I can't explain why I like painting a particular thing, but only after I try doing it, the puzzle pieces are slowly forming a picture. But the best thing I found the most useful is to take that pressure off your chest and pour whatever it is you're feeling right now onto the canvas. May it be good or bad, sometimes there's also art in chaos. So this is going to be the end of my vlog. I'd like to thank everyone who has watched through the end. I'm going to release more art videos, art tips, and art experiences in the future. So I hope to see you guys soon. And like I always say, to art within us.